total victory over sin and death. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is at the very center of the Christian gospel. The empty tomb is full of power. Happy Easter to all. May the joy of the resurrection be yours. I'm Albert Mohler.
For daily commentary, news, interviews, and the Town Hall Review weekend program, go to townhallreview.com. That's townhallreview.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, looky who woke up to join us this morning. Stephen Moore, where were you? Just some splaining to do, Lucy?
I'm going to get a tardy note, right?
Yes.
We always do 7:30 a.m., and then you switched it to this morning at 7 a.m. But anyway, happy Easter, good morning to you guys. And by the way, I don't know if you've heard the latest news, just broke, that Ireland is willing to go to zero on their tariffs. Ireland is.
If we take back Rosie O'Donnell?
If we take back Rosie. I say no deal. No deal. That is too high a price to pay.
What do we import from Ireland besides potatoes? I don't even know if we Ireland. Butter? Oh, that's Irish butter.
Yeah, butter, and Irish whiskey.
Oh.
Two of my favorite things.
Anyway.
I love a good shot of butter and
Buttery
some whiskey. So that's good. So that's zeros. So that's a victory.
From where, Stephen? Zero down. What did they use to tariff us?
Well, look, the tariff war is still, very much going on, and every day we get new news about some. My White House friends tell me that the phone really is ringing off the hook, where these countries are, calling up Trump, getting on the phone and saying, let's make a deal. And, whether you like tariffs or not, and as you guys know, I'm not a big tariff guy. I'm a free trade guy, and I don't like taxes. But if Trump can pull this off, and I think he can, where you get all these other countries to reduce their tariffs, then we're all better off. We have freer and fairer trade. The markets haven't liked this a lot. It's been a big sell-off over the last 3 weeks. But I think once you get two things that happen, one is you got to get the tax cut bill done.
Amen.
And the second thing you got to do is resolve these tariff disputes. And I think that's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months. And when that happens, I think the market's going to roar back to life, because everything else. Look, the other thing I wanted to say to you guys is I am so infuriated by this Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, and I know Trump is too. But the speech that he gave, what was it, on Wednesday?
In Chicago.
Was truly, in Chicago. I forgot about that. It was outrageous. I mean, that was the most partisan speech against a newly elected president, I've seen in my 40 years. And he's talking about, oh my God, Trump's tariffs are going to cause inflation, and that may well be true. Although he didn't talk about all the other things Trump is doing that are lowering tariffs, like producing more energy, like the Doge savings that will reduce prices for everything, all that stuff. And here's the thing I wanted to ask you guys, but maybe I missed something. Do you ever recall Jerome Powell going to the microphones and talking about, oh, my God, Joe Biden's policies are going to cause widespread inflation? I mean, he's spending $6 trillion. He never did that.
No,
he never did.
Not only did he never do that, he cut rates, six months before an election.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so to suggest that Powell is political is reasonable, in my opinion.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And, talk about putting your thumb on the scale. 3 weeks before the election. Oh, we're going to do a big, rate cut.
So there's one thing I want to
for Biden.
Yeah. So he also said, someone asked him about the Fed put, and for people who are listening to, there's been the notion for years that if stock markets start to collapse too much, the Fed could come in and lower interest rates. So he was asked about it, and he basically said, nope, no, under no circumstances there's a Fed put. It almost seems like he's trying to talk weakness into the stock market, which, because, by the way, from an economic standpoint, and I want to ask, this is the actual question, if the equity markets start to cascade lower and accelerate, there is a wealth effect component of that has a macroeconomic ripple. And so it really is somewhat reasonable to lower rates in the face of a 40% stock correction. Am I crazy or no?
Well, look. I think that the Federal Reserve Board should have one job and one job only. It should not have a dual mandate. The Fed you can't create jobs by printing money. Boy, it'd be a wonderful world if we could. If we could just, put more zeros on our bills, and all of a sudden we're going to be a wealthy country. Obviously, that's not the case. And so what the Fed did, let's go back to what you just mentioned, when the Fed cut rates back before the election. Do you recall what happened to the long-term rates?
They went lower, yeah. The curve went inversion. Yeah.
The long-term rates went up, and as the short-term rates.
Oh,
went
yeah,
down.
right.
And the reason, the 10-year and 30-year Treasuries went up in interest rates. And why is that? What drives the long-term interest rates on these bonds? It's inflationary expectations. So the markets, in other words, all I'm saying is it's not like the Fed is the Wizard of Oz. We can just turn this dial and push this button, and all of a sudden it's going to resurrect the economy. Now, they can hurt the economy by getting monetary screwed up, which he did. Jerome Powell is the one who let the inflation rate go to 9.2% under Jerome Powell. The guy has got to go. If he fires him, by the way, then there will be a Supreme Court case about whether the Trump or any president has the authority to fire the Federal Reserve Chair. And I say yes, he does, and that's because I don't know, Amy. Did you vote for Jerome Powell? I never voted for him.
No, I did not. But Elizabeth Warren came out yesterday and said if Trump fires him, it's going to destroy the economy.
Destroy it.
But Trump can't fire him, right?
So, yeah.
Not going to happen.
We don't know. We don't know.
So you're saying he could? Because Jim Uriel is saying he can't fire him.
Well, I thought the Constitution said he could.
We don't know. I think, let me put it differently, guys. I think he should be able to fire the Federal Reserve Chairman, because if he can't, Jim, who can?
Exactly. He serves at the...
Who's he accountable to?
No doubt about it. Okay, here's another question. But I do one thing that you just said about Jerome Powell. In June 2021, CPI already printed over 5%. The housing market was inarguably on fire. And he said, no, you don't think it's transitory. I'm going to hit the gasser. And then he kept it hit for 8 months while everybody, including yourself, was screaming to stop the ride. But that's not the question.
Right.
We shared the stage in Orlando a couple months ago. And
I remember.
And you talked about deregulation, fixing inflation from the supplies. I know inflation also, you can zap $10 trillion out of the stock market, and that does a pretty good number on inflation as well. I have not heard enough talk about massive deregulatory efforts. Are you disappointed with that?
No, actually, first of all, I agree with what you just said, that with deregulation lowers of businesses, and when business costs are lowered, then prices fall. I mean, it's that simple. And when business costs rise, prices rise. So deregulation is one of the key ways of bringing inflation down, just like cutting taxes does. What was your question again about?
Do you think he's dragged his feet? Because I don't hear enough talk on deregulation.
No, well, they're not talking enough about it, but he, through executive orders, he's done amazing things in terms of reining in the EPA or the Interior Department, the SEC, So I think he's really been on fire in terms of deregulating in an aggressive way. I mean, my gosh, AOC and Elizabeth Warren have smoke coming out of there as they're so angry about this stuff. But this is the way to get the economy going. One other quick thing, because I know we're running out of time. This talk about raising tax rates on millionaires is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Every time we have cut income tax rates, we get more revenue. Every time we raise tax rates, we lose revenue. So what do we want to do? We want to make the whole nation look like Chicago?
Amen. And Arthur Laffer's book, addresses that. What's the name of the book? Taxes Have Consequences.
It's called, he's got several, but his latest one is very historically accurate. It's called Taxes Have Consequences.
Right, I read it.
We've been, Laffer and I were in Palm Beach 2 nights ago, and we're doing a whirlwind tour on the 50-year anniversary of the Laffer curve. Amy, do you know the Laffer curve, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From listening to the show.
There you go.
If I dare say no, you guys will kill me.
Here's what
Call will be recorded.
The reason I bring that up is because we're coming to Chicago. We're gonna bring the show to Chicago.
Hurry, we're up against the clock.
Amy, we want you guys all there.
Okay.
WIND. Okay, and maybe you could host us.
All right, Stephen Moore, we're going to have to leave it there. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line. Thank you very much, Stephen Moore. It is now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
A grandstander begging for attention. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That's President Trump's description of a senator visiting El Salvador. In El Salvador, the man deported from Maryland.
Senator Chris Van Hollen said he tried to drive to the El Salvador prison holding Kilmar Abrego Garcia, but his car was stopped.
We were told by the soldiers that they'd been ordered not to allow us to proceed.
But soon after, the senator posted on X a photo of him and Garcia sitting at a table, saying he got a chance to meet with him. He also said, I have called his wife Jennifer to pass along his message of love. I look forward to providing a full update upon my return. Garcia was deported from Maryland earlier this year. The White House has been saying that was due to a clerical error. The Trump administration also accuses him of being a member of MS-13. Jill Nato, Fox News.